Hi guys, this is Momo Bobo. Thanks for stopping by. This is my first ever voiceover for any speed build that I've ever done. So we'll see how it goes. For this one, I'm actually doing a challenge by Sarah Kendall. I'm doing her Sarah Kinshell 9. So here's me first trying to figure out a good layout. I didn't really have any idea to begin with for what I should do, and I end up going with some sort of like farmy cottage kind of thing. I always try to go pretty whimsical with it and use like some of the magic stuff, but then I end up just making a farmhouse, and that's pretty much exactly what just happened with this. So here I am still trying to figure out a good layout. I kind of plan it out in my head and figure, okay, a couch is gonna go here, the refrigerator can go here, but this time I was pretty confused because this is a small layout. Usually I make some bigger houses, but that's what's fun about these shell challenges, is that they kind of push you to your limits, or they make you think outside the box because other people make these shells. Like, I don't usually make shells shaped like this. Most of my stuff is pretty modern and has a lot of open concept stuff, so I tried to stray away from that with this build and made all of my rooms pretty closed off. And at this point, I'm pretty satisfied with what the layout looks like, so I start adding the extra build mode items in there, like the arches, and figuring out what kind of doors and windows I want, and I add the pillars in there. I found these cute windows from the My Wedding Stories, so I made a little sunroom, or what I thought was going to be a sunroom at the time. And then I finished it off with more of the country living windows. And you'll see me move this house around multiple times because I was confused the whole time. I had no idea what I wanted this house to look like. I was just winging it the whole time. And honestly, this house took me a long time to build. Usually they don't, especially for a house this size. But I guess when you add in landscaping, that can definitely take up some extra time. Especially if you go crazy with it, which I tried to, but I'm terrible at landscaping. That is something that I definitely need to get better in The Sims. Like, I love building, but when it comes to landscaping, I'm just gonna pretend that yard doesn't exist. And here's where I start with the roof. And when I say that this roof took me like 40 minutes to figure out, I am not kidding. This took me forever. I literally hated all of it. Every time I added a roof, I was like, oh, that looks terrible. And then I would delete it, and I would just do that over and over and over again, like 20 times, until finally I landed on something that was somewhat presentable. And even now, I'm not all that enthusiastic about the roof that I've got, but it definitely looks better than what's on the screen right now. And overall, I feel like making the roofing on any house in Sims is the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest part of building anything, because it never looks quite right, the ones that I do at least. And I have no problem with making the layout, I have no problem with decorating the inside, but when it comes to roofing, I'm lost. And if you can just look at a house and decide, yep, that's how I'm going to put roofs on it, I'm jealous of you. I am jealous, because look how long this is taking me, and it still doesn't look great. And I think at this point I finally decided on what I wanted my roofing to look like. So I had colored the majority of the roof, but now I'm just taking all those tiny pieces and trying to make it look like it's blending together, because that little corner of the build was such a strange shape. But I think that's what I loved about this challenge, is that the shell is not a normal shaped shell, and that you really kind of have to be creative with it, and maybe that's what all shell challenges are. I don't really do many of them. This is actually my first one that I've done and posted to the gallery, so I'm super excited to see what other people have done with this. But overall, I think I did the best with what I could for that tiny corner in the back. So after finishing the roofing and finding all of the colors that I wanted for the outside, I add this cute little porch area. And then I find some awnings and add some flowers to those awnings from the Romantic Garden Pack. So I sized those down, and then I found some flowers, and right now I leave them as flowers, but eventually I will just turn them into leaves. I'll just change the color of them. And now I'm finally moving on to the inside. And this is where I'm deciding on the colors that I want on all of the wood in the house. And overall, I'm going to change it a few times, but either way, it's still going to end up as a brown. But when I was thinking about building this house, I had kind of imagined something that felt like it was built in a different century, like it was from a long time ago, and it had been loved, and it had been kind of worn down. So I chose some old looking floorboards that come with the Country Living, and I put this wallpaper up, but I end up changing the wallpaper. It's still gonna stay as wallpaper, like a floral wallpaper, but this one I just wasn't feeling it. I want the overall feeling of this to be somewhat dirty because it's old, yet still quaint and loved, and kind of like a mixture of that and grandma's house. So this wallpaper really wasn't showing me that. It just seemed more quite literally country living. So I end up going with something else down the line. And after getting an idea for the feel that I want in the house, I move on to the kitchen. I feel like kitchens are probably my most favorite rooms to do, that or a living room. So I always start with the kitchen, and here I am deciding on which counter to go with. I go with like this pretty green tile. I think it came with a kit, but this is the Country Living countertops, I believe. And I put this little table in there to be like an island / workspace, because they are going to need extra space to cook since this kitchen is not too huge. But since the house is also kind of small, they need a dining area. So I'm going to stick some chairs there as well, and it's going to be like a multi-purpose little table. And from there I start decorating the rest of the kitchen. I add one of those cute little fans. I think it's from the Country Living pack. But it is absolutely my favorite fan, and I will use it with almost every build, even though it doesn't go with most of the stuff that I make. But I just think it is so cute. So here I am adding in the actual chairs to make it into a dining table / workspace. I add the sink because what's a kitchen with no sink? And then I start figuring out what kind of walls I want there to be. And then I find some walls from the Magic Pack, and I think that they worked out perfectly because they are blue, so it doesn't make it look like there's way too much yellow or way too much green, because the tiles are green, but they have like this goldish yellow that kind of matches the rest of the cabinets in there, so it ties everything together without making it look too matchy green and yellow. And this is when I realized they didn't have those ceiling disc lights in like the 1800s or whenever this house must have been built. So I deleted all of those, and I put in the new wall sconces, or I guess old wall sconces, something that looks older and like it would fit more with the house. And then I move on to the bedroom, and I lay out a few beds here because I couldn't really decide which one I wanted to go with and which feel I wanted the bedroom to have. So I end up going with this one with the giant canopy from the Magic Pack, and I thought it looked fine at first, and then I got distracted here, so I started working on the living room. So we'll come back to the bedroom, but I wish I was one of those people who could just work on one room at a time, and I am absolutely not one of those people. I get so distracted if I'm looking through things for a bedroom. Oh, there, I accidentally took a screenshot. If I'm looking for things for a bedroom and I come across something that may look good in the living room, I will put it in the living room and then just start working on the living room. That's exactly what I did here, and it's something that I can't stop doing, and I don't know why. I strive to be one of those creators one day that can just pick one room, work on it, finish the room, and then move on to the next room. But I feel like that is a long shot for me, and you will understand that with the longer you watch this video, because I don't even think that I finished this living room after I have just completely abandoned the the bedroom. I will also abandon this living room, and then I'll add different things here and there as I see them from when I'm decorating other parts of the house. Oh, yep, there we go. Yeah, completely abandoned the living room, started working on the sunroom, and now I'm back to the bedroom. So I decided that I guess I hated that bed, and I put in a new bed that looked kind of more like a farmhouse. So after deciding on this bed, I start looking for some end tables and stuff to actually go along with this farmy look, and I end up going with a lot of just the cottage living stuff, which is stuff that is supposed to go together. And I know that they make packs to make all of the furniture look good together. However, I'm one of those people who likes to mix and match things, like different styles, and still try to make them look good, even though they didn't necessarily come together. And so when I overuse a certain pack, I always feel like I didn't do everything that I could do when it comes to decorating this house. And after getting all of the big furniture placed in the bedroom, I start looking for filler items and decorations like this rug. I gotta say, I love rugs. Rugs are like my favorite thing ever because I like making them match. I feel like they really make a room like come together, and it just makes me so happy when I can place a rug and it pulls all of the colors in. So I just spent like 15 seconds talking about rugs. Anyway, I start moving on to the guest bathroom. This is like the bathroom that is in the hallway. It would be the bathroom that if somebody were to come over, this is the one that they would use, because there is another bathroom that is attached to the bedroom. So it's at this point, one bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And so this bathroom is, because it's only a half bathroom, it doesn't fit a shower, so I just had to leave it at a sink and a toilet. So there wasn't really a whole lot that I could have done with it. But after that, I start just kind of adding miscellaneous decorations here and there around the entire house, because yet again I got distracted, and every time that I look at any decoration or any piece of furniture, it reminds me of a different part of the house that I could potentially be adding it to. So now I'm back in the living room, and I'm adding some picture frames of an apple and a pear, which, by the way, I like that these picture frames are there. Like, I like that I can get little picture frames like that and like stand them up on a surface. However, why do we only have an apple and a pear? I feel like that's such an obscure thing to have a picture of. There is one that I think you have to earn, like unlock, and it's of like a team, but I feel like there should be just like a generalized like family picture or something that you could set up like that, or a picture of, I don't know, just a sim in there. But an apple and a pear, I feel like that's so obscure. It's so random. Okay, here's where I start actually working on this sunroom, and I turned it into a seance room, I guess. It was going to be a sunroom, and I was going to be like, ooh, this place is going to have a little bit of magic or be a little bit secretive, and so that's why I added that crystal ball in there. And then I just forgot about that, I guess, and moved on to the bathroom. So I was going to add the same farmy countertops to the bathroom, and added a shower and a toilet that looked kind of old. Because overall, again, I do want this place to look old, like it was loved and like it was built a long time ago. So I'm not trying to make it look super modernized, and that's why I go with walls that look like this and flooring that looks like this. And I decided that this would be a good place to add some cracks, because the walls were looking so bare and there's not a insane amount of stuff that you can do in a bathroom. So I figured cracks in the walls made the most sense here. And here's where I remembered that I have a basement. So I had to figure out how to place some stairs. I figured I was going to put the seance stuff in the basement. So it took me, just like the roofing, forever to figure out these stairs. I thought that this configuration was going to be fine, but then I had like that weird little space in the middle, and I was like, what can you do with that? And I tried to even delete it right here, but it couldn't make it go away. And I don't actually think you can make it go away, but if you can, please let me know, because I would really like to know. And so I tried like 40 different types of stair configurations, and they all turned out a little bit weird with the doorway, like where it was placed, because even though the doorway is technically kind of like only one space, it takes up 2 tiles, so it was always just kind of in the way of the stairs. So I had to take the stairs out of the entire house. I had to rearrange them, and finally I figured something out. I think it's right here. Yep, this is what I decided on. It was the only one that made the most sense, so I guess this is just what I had to go with. and I needed to start working on the layout for the basement, but you can see here that I'm kind of confused because I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I was going to add a laundry room down here, but then I remembered, hey, who in the 1800s had a washing machine and a dryer? Probably not a lot of people. So I scrapped that idea of having a laundry room, and I added a little area for a craft nook, I guess, another bedroom, and then another bathroom. So I turned this into a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, and I added the seance table down here, and there is like a tiny room attached to that room that I made a secret doorway into, like that bookshelf right there. That is actually a secret doorway, and then I added the Johnny Depp picture. I don't actually know who that is. I think there's actually a sim in here that it's supposed to be, but it looks like Johnny Depp to me, and I always thought that, and nobody will ever change my mind. It is a Johnny Depp picture. But anyway, there is going to be like a little secret room in there. So I tried to make this whole thing look kind of like grandma's basement, and I feel like I achieved that goal with this wallpaper and this desk here and this hallway, and overall, I think it's cute. I like it. But I always feel like I drop the ball when it comes to decorating basements because I never add quite enough stuff, because even when I do add basements in my own builds, which is not a whole lot because, like this one, I forget about them. So I just won't add enough stuff to it, or I'll be like, I already decorated the rest of the house, don't need to put that much effort into this. So trying to add as much stuff as I added in this, it's like I was getting tired. I was like, I'm having a rough time here, and that's why I added this night. Like, when do I ever need that? I've never used that, but I guess this seance room needs it because I'm running out of ideas in this basement. And other than this knight standing in the corner watching whoever is at the seance table, I really like this room. I think the walls are what does it for me because these are so pretty. They came out with the To the Max kit, or the Decor to the Max. I'm not quite sure what it was called, but every single swatch of this wallpaper is so pretty in my opinion. Maybe that's just my style, I'm not sure, but I am very, very happy that Sims added this wallpaper. And now I'm moving on to the little nook I wanted to add for like a creative nook, where some old lady can sit down here in the basement and knit, but there wasn't really much I could do with it, so you could see me struggling here a little bit trying to figure out which table I want or which decorations I want, because the stuff that comes with Nifty Knitting just isn't quite as old lady as I would have liked for it to be. It was kind of just like quirky colors, and I wish that it would have looked like Granny's house kind of stuff. Like you pulled this straight from the 1940s or the 1950s. However, I think this rocking chair is from the same exact pack, and I love these rocking chairs. I think they're so cute. They have like this pretty oak color to them, but it's just the other stuff that comes with it. I think the colors are a little too wacky to kind of go with anything else. It has to be like in its own special room. Like it has to have their own crafting room, which is kind of what I tried to do here. And then I just kind of went back to normal with the other just boring brown colors and the rest of the hallway. And right about now is when I decided that people in the 1800s most likely did not have washing machines and washers and dryers. So I finished up in this hallway, and then I moved on to what is now going to be a very tiny second bedroom. I figured this could be a guest bedroom, or you know what, that's probably what it's going to have to be because it really didn't have too much room for personality. I kind of wanted to go with neutral colors for it, so I went with like a yellow, and then again I used this Realm of Magic wallpaper, and I just kind of kept it beige and neutral. And it really does not look all that exciting, but it serves its purpose as a second bedroom. And even this little space, I was struggling to figure out how I was going to even put a dresser in here. So I ended up going with another one of the Realm of Magic things, and I started off with this one, and I thought it was cute, but then I couldn't really decide if it was going to take away from like even walking space to get around it. So I added in the Realm of Magic dresser, and you saw me try to reconfigure the room and it just wasn't working. So I put it, I tucked it into this little corner, put a mirror above it, and then added a few things on the walls and called it a day with this bedroom. But I was not about to make a basement bedroom without adding a bathroom to go along with it. Like, if you were a guest staying in this basement, would you want to walk all the way upstairs just to go to the bathroom? Probably not, and neither would the Sims. So I wanted to put in a small bathroom next to it. It's not attached because the bedroom and the bathroom both are so small, but it is on the other side of the staircase, and you can see it here. It's the empty room to the right of the bedroom. It is a tiny, tiny empty bathroom. But before I get started on that bathroom, I got distracted once again. I took a look at that new mirror that I have never used, and I started adding things to the walls upstairs because I did not quite finish everything upstairs. Like, I just left this whole wall shelf bare, and I have a bad habit of doing that. I'll put wall shelves up and then I will forget about them and not decorate them and not even notice it until I'm playing and be like, ooh, that looks terrible. So I finished that up, and then I started on a wall of old pictures, and I wish they had more options in like the base game, or just in the game in general, without me having to go get custom content, because I do use custom content a lot. But for challenges like this where you can't use it, I wish there were more options for wall art, because wall art is like one of my favorite things aside from rugs in the game. I return to the basement here, take a look around, and then start working on that super tiny bathroom. Again, I try to make it look really old, and this coloring of the tile, which is also from Realm of Magic, is so ugly in my opinion, but I think it just works with this bathroom. I go with some of the old pieces again, so old sink, old looking toilet, and I just add some shelves above the toilet just to kind of fill up the bathroom. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot that I could do because it is so small. I wish that I could have added a shower and made a full bathroom down here for whatever guest is staying down here, but there was really not enough room to do that. And you saw that I tried to work around it with one of those shower heads that go in the wall, but it just was not working. So I decorated these shelves. I didn't forget to do these ones, which is good because I would have left the basement and then not come back. And I tried to bring out the red colors, but I added 3 things there and said that was good enough. So I moved on to, I don't know, I just took a break and went to the desk and then finished up with the rug. But now I need to finish the basement and work with this tiny secret room. I figured this was going to be a room where they do vampire things or spooky things, I'm not sure, but I put this book in here from the Vampires pack. Pretty much everything in this room is from the Vampires pack, because I think it is also pretty. It all goes really well with each other. And then I added like maybe 1 or 2 things, I think, from the Realm of Magic. And after this room, I am completely finished with the inside of this house, so I will show you in a second video what I do with the outside of this house. But until then, thank you so much guys for watching, and I will see you in video number 2.